Hi, and welcome to my English 307 Reflections video portfolio. So for this assignment, I thought it was necessary to look back over the syllabus to see where we were 7 weeks ago versus where we are today from the key concepts of this class and what I've learned. So for the rhetoric, which I think is communicating with the audience using various techniques and documents. When we did our table for homework 1, the various topics we had to analyze were really helpful in understanding how to analyze our audience and learning what the purpose of our document was, because if you don't understand who's going to be reading it and how they're going to be analyzing it, then it can be very difficult to get the context of your document correct. The process. The steps you carry out to organize your thoughts or data that you will use to write your documents. This is varied throughout our course. I think that every assignment we've done has had its own process. I think one of the biggest helps was when we were doing our project 1 with our resume, and we all had to start with our basic rough drafts, such as, figuring out the text and the way we wanted to word things, and then we would turn those into final drafts. So I think that kind of process helps me the most. Infolent and management, learning how to use the various information sources you will gather, analyze the sources, and use that information in a cohesive document. So I think we did this throughout the entire semester. We learned how to gather our sources, put those into thoughts and ideas, put those into rough drafts, and then turn that into information that we could then use as a final draft. So I think just learning how to gather all your information and then learning how to put that information into a cohesive document, I think we did that quite efficiently with every project that we did. Multimodal, so the use of documents and media from multi-sources and genres to write or include in a document. We also did this throughout the entire semester, but I think one of the things that helped me the most utilize this was in our second project, I should say, where we had to use a vast array of sources such as journals, books, videos, interviews, turn those into our proposal, and then also make our PowerPoints of it. So I think that was a perfect example of how to use our multimodal media to us. Collaborative, working for or with others to gather information, analyze the data, and then present the information in a cohesive manner. So for Project 2, this was an excellent example of collaboration because we had to work within a team to analyze our data and write proposals, but also interview others or gather sources from others outside of our group, which you would collaborate with them to make happen in order to get our information. So I think that helped me understand the concept of collaboration very well. And I can also use that skill later on in the real world. The genre, so the style of writing that reflects what you want to portray to the reader. So I think in our projects 2, that would have been a good example of the genre because we used a couple of different genres. Like when we did our team charter, that could have been both professional and a little less professional, meaning it was between the workers, the team. So you could be a little bit more lax on the context, something that maybe your team would understand versus just a general audience. And then when we wrote our proposal, it had to be a much more technical, professional genre. So that project really helped me understand genre. Ethics, no divulging inappropriate or personal information and always taking the reaction of your audience into consideration. So when we did our project 2, since it was a cross-cultural communications project, that was a perfect example of ethics because you not only had to work within a group and analyze your ethics with them, meaning how well you worked with others, not treating each other with disrespect, but also the ethics of another community and not wanting to upset or disregard the feelings and thoughts of those who you interviewed. And then I would say the 4 pieces of course-related work that maybe helped me the most during this whole course would be the peer reviews, of course our in-class activities, our rough drafts, and then just in general research. I think that we had to do very many different things to get to where our projects was, and that all helped me truly understand how to put together a final project. One of my biggest issues in this class was working with time constraints because I do have young children at home, and sometimes it was really hard to balance my schedule with school schedule. I did find in our technical communications on chapter 8, they had a whole section on working with time constraints. And so I read that very carefully and I adapted some of the rules and suggestions that they gave me, and it really helped to redo my schedule around my school schedule. What did I learn about myself as a writer in this class? I pretty much learned that I am very good at commuting ideas and thoughts, but I really struggle when it comes to starting an idea. I have to write several different rough drafts before I'm able to pull enough information to write a final draft. So that's something maybe I need to work on, is learning how to hone my ideas a little bit more. And then I also learned that I'm really not great at grammar either. So I guess that's something I'm going to have to really work on as well. Just doing practice again to hone those skills and ideas. Going forth with other projects, I think that the skills that we learned in this class will very much help me in other classes, because I can take the topics that we learned and put them into other papers. Well, I hope you enjoyed my reflective video. If you have any questions, my contact information is listed at the bottom of my website. Thanks!